I'm Chase.
And I'm Timothy.
And this is Customer Service.
Good morning, Brondo. People are really going to see the process now, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I'm feeling it bad.
Have we done solo with video? I don't remember, bro.
We've done like one, maybe. And then then one got screwed up, and then, you know what I mean? We're still working out the kinks with it a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
It's our fault.
we can only do things the way we did it that one time, so.
Well, it's a situation where, you know, it took a while to get this thing going, and then we get it going, and then we have a system. And the nice thing about the system is we made it so that basically all I had to do was go, record. Yeah. And then I edit it later. So it was much easier. So now we have to get the little lights going. We got to get into a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Got to remember to record the Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors that are at play that we didn't have before. So
yeah, we got these little webcams.
Hopefully people are enjoying all of this. Yeah.
Bro, speaking of webcams, I had a webcam for Xbox 360 that you would like scan. It'd scan your face, and then in Rainbow Six Vegas, you could make your face over the face of the character, you know?
Sure.
And people would scan their faces with like a clown mask on and stuff. It was really interesting. But anyway,
really
I haven't fussed with so fucking cool.
It's really interesting.
But shit, bro, how we doing? So here's the thing. There's you were traveling. I got a lot of things that I want to talk about, and I've been purposely, you know how hard it is for me to not talk about everything that's on my mind. I've been purposefully not talking about any of these things because I wanted to save it for the pod. There's a lot of good things, I think funny things, things that might surprise you about me that's surprising myself, but what's good? So let's start with your travel. You guys got back mid this week. You went home. You visited family. You didn't drive.
No.
Great.
I told you
obviously.
never again. That's never going to happen again. I mean, it would be over my dead body.
Yeah.
They'd be yanking me from the back, my body flopping around. No chance.
You'd be checked luggage before.
Yeah.
So.
It was. I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's like it's all like. Here's the thing that's nice. Well, nice and not nice. It used to be that when you had a baby, you didn't pay for the baby to be on the thing because they're kind of with you the whole time.
And because at that point, Gia would just sit on your lap, right?
Yeah. But we've also flown with her a lot throughout the years. Like she's a well-traveled small child.
Yeah.
And she did to get to the point where I'm like, she's too big to be like on us the whole time. Oh, you don't want to pay. And now we've got the full row.
Yeah.
You strap her in there with you give her like a thing of Play-Doh, that like a travel Play-Doh and the iPad, and you don't hear from her the whole time. She's got stuff to do. She looks out the windows. She was messing with some kid behind her. Like she's good to go.
Oh yeah, I heard that she was inviting the kid to her birthday party, and hey, if you can't come to the birthday party, you can send me presents in the mail.
Hey, I know you can't come to the birthday party, but you can still get me a gift. And Abby and I were like, gee, no. And she goes, he can send it. And I was like, okay.
Like, you idiots.
Yeah, I already solved that. The kid was down too. So we had, we traveled as easy, we were there for my wife's grandfather's and grandma's 70th anniversary.
Wild.
So they've been married
They're
very
both in their
long
90s
time.
then, right?
Yeah.
Married early 20s?
I don't know the math, but
early 20s, late
right.
teens at that point, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we did that. Had a bunch of family in town. You know, it's like a tent in the backyard situation. You know what I mean?
Familiar, absolutely.
And the way it got moved around, because there was some like travel issues this is not stuff I'm privy to. There were inner things happening that changed
other
dates.
workings.
That we had a 4th of July party the first night.
For Abby's birthday, technically.
And the 4th of July.
And the 4th of July.
Sure, both. and then, so we did that. My wife's sister's boyfriend ran the fireworks, and he's like born for this. Yeah. And so that was
what's interesting is he's both an Indiana and an Ohio fella.
Yeah.
And so
he's
equals
mixing
is indestructible.
Yeah. He's like a cockroach. He will outlive us all. And he was so he ran the fireworks show. It was very chaotic. And then so that was fine, and we had that party, and right into the next day, a party with like a tent, like a nice, a little bit more refined of a situation, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I saw some photos. It looked really nice.
So we had that. It was fine. The food, there's food and hanging out, and
Are we talking macaroni salad.
No.
Pasta salad.
This
What-
was like a whole. They like did the whole thing where it was like Italian themed because they're from Italy, and so it was like trying to think now. It's like a salad, and there was like a Italian wedding soup, and there was like a chicken francese, and
What's that?
it's like lemon chicken.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
and what else? I think there was some pasta like tortellini and like some sort of stuffed pasta, and yeah, it was nice.
This is
Tiramisu,
going to sound silly,
espresso.
but as a non-Italian person, wedding soup, is that traditionally eaten for weddings? Like, is that where... man, because
I don't know.
I've
Well,
eaten
my family's
so
also
much
from
wedding
like
soup.
they're from like northern Italy, so they're kind of like it's a whole
It's
different.
a different
I don't know what it
situation.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a whole like everything is a stew where I'm my family's from.
Yeah.
They're like a little bit more like southern, so it's a little more of
you-
like what you know.
Because you said like kind of like rabbit even and stuff, right? Like that would be common.
Yeah, a lot of veals and rabbits and carrot stuff, and it's like that kind of thing.
Cool.
Is what's more traditional for like the Friuli Venezia area. But
I love a stew, man. I can remember going over to eat at my buddy's house. I was friends with the whole family, but we'd go over there and it'd be weekend and be like, Chase, you gonna stay for dinner? I'd be like, yeah, I'd love to. And be like, what's for dinner? And beef stew. And you'd hear all the kids go like, ugh. And I'd be like, oh, I'm fucking stoked. I'm down. I can't wait.
Yeah. I feel like as a kid, you sort of like any food that's from a different place than where because you've had those things. So this is all new menu items.
Yeah, 100%.
So anything's solid.
100%. Now, my mom can make a mean stuffed shell, a lot of those things like that. You know what I mean?
One time, Chase and I spent Christmas together and made stuffed shells. So
oh my God.
it was a little while ago.
Yes, that
It
was
just he and I
That was
making
so
stuffed shells together.
Oh fuck, that's so funny.
That was
I
a while
forgot about that. Yeah.
So anyway, we did that, and then you do a little bit of.
You're going to see
putzing
the
around,
family,
yeah.
and yeah.
We did go to this like farm that you can visit for Gia.
Yeah.
I think like I was more into it than she was. Of
course.
Because there was like this. Like I've told you, man, something's changing inside of me lately.
Yeah,
where it's
brother.
just like I'm into the outdoors. I'm into more rural areas.
Dare we say property?
I would never, ever in my life say that word. Just so you know. Just so you know.
That's tight.
I understand. Here's the thing. Here's what I don't need to do that you need to do is I don't need to make it a whole, I only will do this and it will be like this. I don't need to make it like a whole lifestyle thing. It's just that would normally have been so off-putting to me, like a lot of the things. And like, I feel like my brain chemistry is changing though, where it's like everything I used to like, I don't like anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man. I've been listening to ambient music, not metal, and it's like I don't know, something's going on, man.
Yes, you're turning the corner. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I feel like whatever
Fatherhood to an extent, I'm sure.
like is in the air in Boulder, like maybe Boulder's getting its hooks in me. I would have to be much
It's the
more like,
chemtrails.
Yeah.
They've been putting out chemtrails.
Yeah.
They got fucking Coach Prime out here, and they're putting chemtrails in the air and make us all like football and make us more agreeable.
Ugh, I'm gonna suddenly start
football.
like being worried about everything and driving a Rivian truck and all these dorky ass
Being
things
worried about
guys do
everything.
here.
Like saying like kale's bad.
Dyeing my hair blonde and wearing a trucker hat.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on, but I liked it. This farm situation was good. There was like
Yeah.
an area where it was just dogs.
Just were they
Like
border
8
collies or
A couple big boys, like farm
protect
dogs.
ones? Yeah.
And
yeah.
then puppies. Like, so the dogs came out. They're all barking. I'm trying to talk to them. Mm-hmm. Then I don't know where you see a puppy stick its head around the corner, and then like 4 more come around. and I'm like,
man.
see, this is what I can get into this. You know what I mean?
Man.
If like, I mean, I think you'll understand if the Midwest could be, if we could decrease the humidity by like 80% at minimum, and that would still be more than what we have here. Because when you get there, you arrive and it's like a brick wall.
Oh, bro, it hits you. You get off that plane in Cleveland, in Indianapolis, what have you. It's palpable. You can actually feel it when you wave your hand through the air.
You're like, it's heavier.
Oh, something's
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
If we could decrease the humidity, and if it could be like an Indiana summer year round, because it's nice, dude. Like other than you get that cloud coverage that happens for like days at a time. If we could just not have any of that, if it could be more Boulder-esque, mostly sunny,
Yeah.
but same vibe that they have. All that, I mean, all on board. Then
I'm with
it's
you,
mostly
man.
like you because you go in the summer. I'm like, man, this is really nice, and then you go back in the winter, you're like, God, it is really hard.
People talk about the Northwest having X amount of days of of shade or no sun. You know what I mean? And that's true. I'm sure that but like everybody forgets that like Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, parts of PA, you also get nothing for months on end.
It'll
and
just be
incredibly
gray for
cold
ages.
temperatures.
Yeah.
Incredibly
the clouds. Yeah, I mean it's I mean like obviously all of that's necessary for like what farming and things that go on there. But man alive, is it like kind of hard on you when you get used to out here?
Yeah.
You know, where it's just like even when it snows and stuff, by the next day it's sunny.
There's been days where, I've worn like a t-shirt or a light shirt into work with snow on the ground because it's 65 degrees, but it snowed the day prior.
I don't really feel like here I ever need to change my clothes. As long as you're kind of in medium clothes all the time, you're good.
I dress in the same outfits year round. Literally year round. In the winter, I throw on a wool Visvim vest over top it, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So
anyway, it was I like the farm. Got a pet of cows and horses. And
that reminds me. That's something I wanted to do this summer. I want to pet a bovine. I've never got to interact with a cow.
You always say that
I most identify as a bovine.
You can. There's like farms you can just go to and like you just walk up there and This is when I take Gia to a lot where you throw.
Is it out here?
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes away. You throw a $5 down, you take a bag of carrots from their little bucket, and you can go feed them. And there's goats and cows and horses and all sorts of stuff.
See, that really interests me, man. And I used to be very anti-horse as well. And then Michelle and I stayed in an Airbnb years ago.
What do you mean? What's a horse doing to you?
I used to be really afraid of them. And I used to think you shouldn't have to ride them, or you shouldn't ride them, rather.
I agree with you there. I don't want to do anything to an animal except for have it as a pet.
Yeah, well,
or just the way they're in an area where I can go visit them and help them live a life that God didn't intend, but in a different way. Where
I understand.
I am really going above and beyond.
Well, it's like
kind of like the way my cat lives. It's a barn cat, and it lives like a young prince now.
It'd be like the equivalent of me as a kid living in a mall. You know what I mean? You have Frankie can really
Frankie's
fuck off.
Raised at the mall.
And like Bob's buddy that has cows up the hill, but they're not for butchering. They're just pets on the property. Takes care of the cows.
I mean, maybe if the chickens had eggs, that might be fine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But even then, I don't know. That's not
chickens are a lot, man.
Type of animal.
I've heard from multiple people, pro and against, but most recently Michelle's family, when she was out in Idaho visiting them, they were like, oh, you don't want chickens. They get out, bro. You got to let them out in the morning, put them away at night. If you live somewhere that has predators, they're getting fucking eaten all the time. You know what I mean? Then you got to have like a dog to protect the chickens type thing. So I don't know if it's for me, but I do want to go to that farm. So after this, I'd like to get the information. I'd like to go pay a visit.
I like the idea of you have a pond where the ducks are at, because when we went camping, there was like a pond that realistically, you could have left me out there to just kind of watch what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, Abby, look, they're kind of moving over. And she's like, I don't care where they're moving to. Like, well, they went from there to there.
Yeah, no, look at them.
Yeah. they're doing something weird.
I love to walk around the outside of a pond too slowly. And if you're good, you can see frogs jump in. You know how when they hear you, sure. If you're good and slow enough, you get to see the frogs. You get to see
if you're good.
or if you're looking close enough, there's fish along the edge or what have you. But I'm all for it, man. How fun.
Yeah. Well, I liked that aspect. It was fine. You know what I mean? It is. It's visiting home. It's not like
it is what it
go
is.
to like check out new restaurants and go see shows. It's hey, just sort of walk around.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Go from place to place. So other than that was kind of all I've had really going on, and then we're back here and it's busy.
Yeah, brother, we were cranking while you were gone. Not too bad, right? Come back to a clean little space. Shit got done.
You can see our entire work dynamic happening at play right now, where he wants me to say
it
so bad. Right,
Rhonda, right, Timbo? It's also Coop. But no, dude, we're happy to have you back. We are very, very busy.
Yeah. Tell them what's going on. Tell them what we got.
Let's do a little update. Yeah. Let's do a little update here, shop update, and then I got some stuff that I can't wait to tell everybody. But we have, in the last couple of days, yesterday we got 13 boxes from Orslo.
Yep.
It is
some
big
new,
restocks.
Some restock, yeah.
So the things that were restocks are live already. And if you haven't already, sign up using the remind me, the notify me when back in stock button. We have that on stuff like Orslo, CDG perfume, things like that we've had previously sign up and use that, because a lot of people were able to buy shit the second it was back online. They get an email notification. So we got a bunch of Orslo. I just imported La Mer. La Mer is on the way. I need to do some customs things for that. Imported a new brand yesterday, Brondo. HealthKnit.
Yeah. I forgot that was like, I think we'll need to debut, but
we haven't talked about it.
It's this brand I've followed for a long time. They do basics, kind of this, it's like it was an old company. I want to say it's from the 70s or 80s. They just made like basics, I'm talking like tees, tank tops,
Henleys, thermals,
hoodies,
boxers, socks. Yes.
Yeah. And I really liked the simplicity of it. I liked the packaging and everything like that. It was only in Japan. When we were in Japan, we happened to like be able to see some in person, and it was like, oh, this is really, really cool. It's like one of those situations where like the item itself, I just want to buy it even whether I need it or not because it looks cool.
Logo's cute. It looks nice. It felt good on the hand. And again, the packaging is sick.
Yeah.
When we're looking through the line sheet, it's like, oh man, if I saw that on a shelf, I'd have to try it.
Affordable, and it's just basics. You know what I mean? It's like, and they there's a couple fun pieces in there too, but I would say on the whole, it's like just good, solid like things you want to buy 8 of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited because I just feel like we've got some options, but I want to have more. So this is kind of just having more basics options.
Why not? We'll give you guys options. We got things like tank tops on the way. I think people will like that here in summer. It's 103 in Boulder today. Boxers, hoodies, everything. And then obviously for fall, we'll interpolate over to a little heavier items, more fall appropriate items. But yeah, I'm excited about that. So that is on the way. They have the labels. I would assume it comes mid next week.
I think we've been saying it. There was just some like logistics things because they had some things changed. Not that anyone cares, but CDG Parfum, like a huge restock of that. Everything that they've had.
But have they hit you? Has it shipped?
Yes.
Oh fuck yeah! Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we have an absolute a metric ton of CDG perfume coming, and we just restocked 1969 not that long ago, and it's getting picked through. So anyway, go check out Apothecary. That shit's cool. Water was restocked in a big way. Not too much else came.
Well, another cool one that should be shipping next week is that Binu line, the one that's got...
Talk about that, because that was more you find.
Yeah, it's a really cool company that does like a lot of different things. They're known for like making handmade soaps. So there's that. And then there's also like these really beautiful like simple incenses, holders, you name it.
Those kind of long, cute lighters. I don't think we were able to get them in the store.
Yeah, they don't sell them. We'll have one in the store if you want to come look at it. But
I want it so bad.
Yeah, they're really cool. So just some like really cool, like simple, like a little less complicated. Because like look, I only wear CDG Parfum, but those are pretty complicated fragrances. Yep. This is much more simple and like natural.
Cool.
So really good, like kind of everyday, really clean stuff. So I'm really excited about that brand.
Nice,
pretty stuff.
Yeah. So new stuff on the way. Oh. And also something that we've been talking quite a bit on the pod in particular, Taiga Takahashi TT is on the way. Got a tracking number as of this morning. So everybody that we've been hyping up on that since we wrote it last October or so, it's coming. Yeah. I'm stoked. I was telling the shop guys the other day, I was like, I wouldn't feel right having done the tea ceremony with the boys in Japan and not purchasing something from the collection. So I don't even know what I'm going to get yet, but I'm going to get something,
I'm too all in on Harrell, like we've talked about.
Yeah.
I feel like it's slowly turning into what all can I get rid of to have more Harrell. Already bought 2 pieces this week. I'm just paying full for these things too, just to be clear. I can't, it's just, they're too good.
The spot you and Chris found, right? Yeah, dope.
Yep. So cool. But I had another one that I got that was a used piece, but I'm just taking what I can get because it's sold out everywhere.
Yeah, man.
I can't get it. The stuff I really want, I can't get.
Yeah, when we get it, we're going to be able to burn right through that. I'm stoked. The stuff we wrote for spring is really hot, and then obviously you and I remembering our meeting we had with them virtually and what we wrote for what's coming is also really going to be sick. So there's some cool kits. There's a lot of
spring's one
high-low luxe materials with workwear, but yeah, spring shit's looking pretty cool, man.
What are you excited about for spring?
Coddle. I know it's top of mind because we just wrote it yesterday, but what you said about Harrell is the same. I'm thinking, fuck, man. I'm always going through my closet and being like, what can I get rid of? And I'm at the point now, I don't want to get rid of anything. Everything I have, I love, and I for 6 months has made the cut. So I don't know what is going to change in my brain to say that, okay, now I can get rid of this shit. I think what I'm going to do, bro, is do a nice closet reorg, the dreaded reorg. And then what I think I'm going to do is just fucking have clothes and stop being so hard on myself.
Well, my thing is more now like I'll probably trade out one thing for another. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like kind of trade up. So now it's like I got the staples. I know what's working in there. Now it'll just be like I'm going to switch this for this. You know what I mean? Or I'll just have two because I know I wear it a lot.
Are you a guy that puts things in storage, say for like winter or for summer?
I was going to say no, but I guess that's technically not true. I have like an area of my closet that's a little harder to access, and I will fold down things. I go through a thing where I'm going to wash all this stuff. I'm going to clean it up really nice. I'm going to fold it down really nice, and then it goes into that area because I know that I won't.
Yeah.
I don't need I take my heavier sweaters and put them in one place. Heavier coats go into the coat closet.
Because we did say, you and I both mostly dress the same year round. But there are things that are heavier. Like the EG collab jackets, they're a little too heavy and lined to be wearing and shit in this time. Yeah. Boro jackets, the slightly heavier things. I'm with you. They also go to the far right of my closet.
Yeah, because I just can't reach it so well, so I put it over there until it needs to get.
Don't got fuss with it. Yeah,
but mine has gotten pretty minimal, man. And I just keep being like, even when I was traveling, you only have like a few things, and you're like, I much prefer this because I'm putting together things in weirder ways because I just have to work with what I got.
Yeah,
I'm much happier in that circumstance. So I'm trying not to overdo anything.
Yeah,
like really accept. These are the pants that I wear. And like I said, I'm not going to, then don't beat yourself up when when I buy my 100th pair of old 505s or whatever, because I know I'll wear those. And I swap them out. I turn them into shorts. They get used until they're gone. You know what I'm saying? So I'm fine with that,
Somewhere someone linked something, we've talked about it on the pod, I'm sure. Daiki said something like, I have a wall of green pants. They all serve a different purpose for me, this, that, and the other. That unlocks something in me of being like, who fucking cares? I do wear them all. I can itemize every green pant I have in my closet, and I've worn them all once in the last 3 weeks. You know what I mean?
That's sort of my thing with the old jeans situation. It's like there's a reason for all, they all fit a little, which is insane. That that's what I kind of like about it is that you buy them and you're like, why did this one fit so much different? And then sometimes you'll hit the fucking lottery, and then for 1 year I'm only wearing one pair.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because I just love them, and then they get torn up, and I don't worry about it because now you move on to the next one, and I've got more. Longer ones for boots, and I've got shorter ones for summer. I've got hemmed, unhemmed. I've got, you know what I mean? All sorts of different stuff. Yeah. So they've all got reasons. I get that. Yeah. And I've really hit a point too now where it's I don't know that I need any other pants. That's the pant I wear. And same thing as I don't feel bad about having once I hit the t-shirt I like for whatever I'm into at that time, I get a gang of them, and then those are all on hangers. I treat them like fine clothing because I will wear either off black or white t-shirt and jeans every single day, and then everything else is built around that.
I completely agree. Yeah.
As long as that's solid, you know what I mean? I'll have as many of those as I want.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Well, so what else you got? You said you had things on.
I got a couple other things. So that's mostly store stuff.
Well, so you said cottles what you're excited about for spring, yeah?
That would be what I'm most excited about for spring. Yeah.
I'm going to bring up the open to buy log right now and see my call outs. Aura Lee was really good. I mean, I think everyone, they really have had a lot of press around that last show. It was really good. I mean, it's always been really good though, but for some reason it's really that one really resonated. It's
just one of those things that caught some traction,
It's funny to think I think everyone gets in their head sometime about if you're working on something and you're I just don't know if it's getting the attention that it deserves. I mean, Aura Lee's been good, really good for so long. So that for them to suddenly it's that, it just reminds you to just keep chugging, man. People are watching, people are doing, the thing. You just you haven't hit that cycle where it really resonates, you know? But man, they are operating on a very high frequency, man.
When you told me, the name, or I read somewhere, the name stands the designer thinks about the clothing being worn in early morning light. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was it for me. That did it. That's all I needed to hear. That's the only nugget I needed to be that is so fucking cool. And if there's a piece that kind of piques my interest, it has now. I've done the gymnastics and I want it now.
to me, it looks like Japanese the roe, and that's plenty for me.
Yeah.
I've hit this new phase where I feel like I'm in, and I think I might have found my rhythm in like what I want my style to be if I were to define it lately. When I was back home, I was thinking about it because you'll understand this. When you're from the Midwest, it is very like common that people have like lake houses.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And the lake houses are rich people, but they're not operating. It's not real rich. You know what I'm talking about? It's like Midwest rich.
Yeah, it's just comfortable. Like, it's comfortable. Yeah. You got money to throw around.
You couldn't go to the Hamptons with that money and be rich, but in where you're at,
in New York City vacation, you'd feel. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But what's great about that is there is a casual cool that comes along with that because it's a little edgier.
Yeah, bro.
That I think is undefeated in style. And like, I'm not sure how this guy was related to me, but there was a guy that I was actually talking to my mom about this, and I'm not sure. I still don't think I have everything ironed out. But we'd go do family reunions at this lake house. Beautiful, like old home, like
bro,
paneled basement. You know what I'm talking about?
Timothy, don't even tell me. I can smell it, and I love it.
Yeah. Like rock fireplace in the middle.
Yes.
Kitchen that's kind of cottagey. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, you're describing like upstate New York too.
Yeah, that's kind of the energy.
You know what I mean?
It's like that energy, but Midwestern, so it's a little less stuffy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's not as waspy. It's more just...
Yeah, and they'd always have like, the equivalent of like a short swimsuit. These are also Italian guys too. So short swimsuit and like Oxford with no shirt underneath.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And like the hat, like what I'm wearing, and then cool sunglasses. And like, I think that my new move is like, I want to be that Midwestern lake house owner, but gothy.
Sick.
I think that's combining all things that I like into one place. And I think that's my new true north.
I love that for you, bro. I love that for you. It's the unbothered nature is what I think shows through. When I'm I know that guy. I know many of those fellas. You know what I mean? And they probably have a couple cool dogs, drive a nice truck.
They definitely
and
have
like
cool dogs.
Swear a lot, but they're cool. You know what I mean?
They definitely have cool dogs. It's not a truck. It's a big SUV, which is like
it's a
our
Tahoe
fantasy suburban.
Yeah.
The only two big SUVs in my book.
Yeah.
So 1 decade of Cadillac Escalade.
Do you remember
not too new, not too old.
Like a GMC Yukon though too?
That can be okay if it's the one that has the ridges on the corner.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, if it's got that one, then that's good. There's certain
similar to Alex Lexus, that same body
tall,
type.
big body SUV. Is rock solid. Love, that's the right. Now you're in the right place. Yeah, and you're right about the dogs. Definitely 2 or over dogs. These could be big dogs. These could be like Irish Setter types or something. These could be Burmese Mountain Dogs, or flip side, they could be like 3 Pomeranians. You never know what you're going to get. Either one is like, that's the type of guy. And I think that is me as a guy.
Yeah.
So I think this is the new.
I'm picturing it now. You're in some teal little tiny swim trunks. You're in a white Oxford that you've just had
you've nailed it, but now switch the tonality to just being like a lot of blacks and grays, and now bingo.
Yeah. Would you be carrying around a drink? It's a kombucha. No, it's not a kombucha. Not in the Midwest. They don't have that there.
Well, that's what I would do. Yeah. But it's just water or kombucha.
Yeah.
Is the two things I like.
Yeah.
Plus, dude, I'm trying to do this like Whole Foods diet, like basically like only just you can cook it, but it has to just be. I don't know. I don't care what it is. I just know. I always just try to think about what do I feel like I need, and then I just do that. And I feel like I've needed like. I don't want any processed anything. No sugar, no nothing. You know what I mean? Like drink is just coffee or water, nothing else. If we're cooking, it's just avocado oil, nothing else. Salt and pepper, I think is fine. It's a little bit of a cheat, but...
Bro, salt and pepper's good for you.
But like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just trying to like keep it as like unprocessed as possible for like at minimum 1 to 2 months.
Yeah. You've started already.
Yeah. So I'm in it.
I've noticed because you guys' lunches and should have been salt.
It's like hard. Like I've done this before. It's like the first part is hard because it's like, I swear to God, it's your body like wanting chemicals and white sugar and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not that I even consume that much of that stuff because I feel like I'm relatively mindful of those kinds of things. But like, man, is it like, it's a pain.
We're going to come back to this exact thought when we wrap this up. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, where I was going through the brand list and we got distracted. But the other thing is between fall and spring 25, a lot of new brands, and I think maybe people will be like, "Oh, interesting," from you guys. So I'm excited about that too. I won't.
I was gonna say you can throw.
I don't
want
to soft launch them. Yeah, we'll let it. They'll come as they come. But good stuff, like interesting moves for us. I think exciting things. Yeah.
A couple things that can't wait, like Tiger Takahashi.
Some bigger, some smaller. You know what I mean?
I want the delivery to come because I want to feel it. I want to put the shit on, see what's good. Yeah. So.
I mean, like I said, Harrell, I'd throw everything out and start over with just that brand. But
yeah.
Let's see who else. Man, it's honestly, when I'm looking at this, the highlights are the new brands, and there's kind of a lot of them. I've already counted 5. Our legacy was really strong.
Always, they're just getting better and better.
Yeah, really strong. Like what you want from them, and then also new stuff in a way that I think is really going to hype people up. Orslo is obviously great. It's always great. But guys, if you've been like, man, I can never get this or I can never get that, we're trying to make that so that is not an issue at all. So it's coming in strong.
The shipment is trending towards that intention. The spring shit is wholly invested in that idea. So
I mean, I think that we already drove this home in a previous episode, but Jesus Christ was Taiga Takahashi good. Dude. What we wrote in Is Coming is good. This was really amazing. Listen, we were all just I don't think there's anything I wouldn't write here. We were having troubles being doing any editing.
So they're so similar to Coddle, not in aesthetic, but in to say the word again, intention. Coddle really walks that walk. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of literature around their terms and their ideas and the concept behind it. And Taiga Takahashi, through a different lens of a little more repro, a little more military based in some ways, a little more vintagey feeling, you know what I mean? But same deal. A whole write up about each item with photographs, or we saw in person in that case, the actual piece that they bought that it's inspired from, with the whole story behind it, and it's beautifully displayed, and then you can see here's the inspiration, and right next to it is here what they did, and it's just crazy to see how they do it. But anyway, agreed.
There is just seasonally, and I'm not talking about this whole the fact that Binu, or there's a couple other home goods things that we haven't brought in just yet that we're working with, and some of this more kind of core staple stuff that's coming in separately. We won't count any of those. There's still 11 new brands that aren't on the website now that will be on the website between fall and spring. So it's a lot.
And a returner that we love.
And a returner. So coming back strong.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and hit your topics. I just wanted to see if there's anything else there that as we're starting to wrap up the buying season.
Yeah, it's nice. I think that was really cohesive. A couple things. Your body wants chemicals. I know I do.
Couple things.
But no, so the first thing that I want to talk about, Timbo, is joining this bowling league with Cooper.
Here we go.
I drove out to Wheat Ridge last night, right after left work, went and drove out to Wheat Ridge. I love it, man. You probably could have predicted it. There's clearly a pipeline. There's guy.
Are you two okay?
Dude.
Does anyone need to check on you with all this shit?
I'm telling you, you come bowl with us, you'd be like, that was fucking fun, dude.
I went bowling with Cooper.
You did?
I'm good.
Dude, it's
I don't
so
need to
fucking
do that
fun.
More.
I hadn't bowled in 5-6 years. We get in there, you start warming up, you play 3 rounds. It's a tournament. Our team is called Rikers to Strikers, insinuating we were once all incarcerated at Rikers Island, and now we're really good bowlers, kind of like a 90s movie or something. You know what I mean? But it was great, dude.
Yeah, both of you, if either of you walked into Rikers, you wouldn't walk out. The two of you
get smacked up so fast. But dude, anyway, I'm in the bowling league, and that's really all there is to report. Is it's so much fucking fun. I've learned to spin the ball a little bit. I was bad the first 2 games. Third game, almost led the team. So I'm finding the rhythm. I'm loving bowling.
It's a very inconsistent thing until it's consistent.
It's just like golf, where every time I go to toss that ball, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Whether I'm feeling confident or not, it's still a toss-up. You know what I mean? But there's clearly a pipeline of dudes played sports their whole life, graduate high school, go to college, maybe play a little bit of college ball, whether it's rec or intramural, what have you, and then you're kind of
found drinking and cocaine, stopped working out entirely. 10 years later, decided to pick up a sport where you barely need to move.
Well, think about it, bro. If you and I were to play soccer, listen, I love soccer. I tried watching soccer the other day, and it was just so embarrassing to watch. Actually, just the fake flopping, and I understand it's part of the game, but I can't even support soccer anymore at this point. I fully think it sucks and is lame and is dorky. So
Yeah, but you'll watch a game with 45 players that don't run for shit, and
Football.
all they do is legally why don't you just watch a lawsuit take place? You know what I mean? Like that's all it is them standing to the side reviewing things. God knows why anyone would go to see these games. In my opinion,
Hey.
it's just them looking at a screen, an iPad half the time.
hey, I hear you, bro.
I can't do it.
I hear you, and you know what? Abby's going to be spending a lot of time with us, with the gang, this fall. And
I'm
you
gonna
and
get,
Gia
I'm gonna
can
get
go
her a
do your
separate TV that goes in the car or something because I can't have that on in the house as often as it's gonna have. It depresses me.
I'll tell you what, Machan's even stoked on football because we're watching this new Receiver series on Netflix, and so she's even like gassed on football this season.
Oh
So
my
you don't even have
God.
your ally anymore. So anyway,
I've never trusted her as an ally. I'll say that on the thing and she can hear it. I've never trusted her because sometimes she'll back you up in weird ways, and I'm like, ew, no, never mind. I don't trust your opinion because of these moves you've made.
hey, that's just my shooter. You know, that's just my shooter. Love her.
God bless.
So, but
I'm not either. I'm none of you guys' shooters. I'll shoot you.
But that's it, man. Listen, I love bowling. It's a lot of fun. A couple things. Everyone's welcome in the bowling alley, man. I'm pretty sure there was like a homeless dude doing drugs in the bathroom, and he kind of like passed out. Shit was kind of falling out from underneath the stall, but wasn't that big of a deal. Everybody just kind of worked through it. And then we were playing with this old fella named Mike. He was on the team against us, dude. I'm going to do it so everybody can see. He would bowl, and then as the ball's going down the thing, he would kind of like do it, and he'd watch it, and right when the ball goes to hit the pins, he'd go, or he'd walk away from the pins, and then right when you could hear it, he'd go, boom, and he'd turn around and pop it hard.
What are you bowling with Ace Ventura?
And, dude, I swear to God, that's actually the best. Cooper goes, oh my God, you're going to love Mike. He does this thing. And then literally in warm-ups, and he's doing a crab walk back and forth, and then boom, and he pops it. So anyway, man, I am enamored of the bowling alley right now. I just think it is so much fun. So that's about it.
You guys
there.
need to have kids or get a second job or something. Like you guys are finding too much free time.
Well, the thing is I thought for a second, I was like, man, Coop's bowling a lot, you know. And the thing is with Cooper is he has so many interests. It's crazy to me that he can do all of them and also have a job as well. Mm-hmm. But he somehow does, and he's got a bowling ball and shit. And Coop's a good bowler. He's got a stroke, you know. So shout out Cooper, love you, baby. We're gonna see him tonight.
You guys go take a run or something.
I talked to Machan about that this morning. We both might get into running. We're figuring out ways to set low stakes so that it's not because I've tried multiple
to get jump right in. Why don't you just go take a long walk? You've got all this goddamn
or just
free
running
time.
a mile. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. My thing is when I tried to get into running years ago, I was like, I tried to run as if I were still in soccer condition or something. You know what I mean? And it just it clearly doesn't work that way. And so I need to find ways to, because my thing is I want to jump into something head first and do it all, and then I get overwhelmed or I don't get the progress that I want, and I'm too hard on myself, and then I
See, I think that like that's what helps to if you go to a gym and use a treadmill. I know people like that are into outside running are like really into it, and that's great because they're like extremely fit and they do this all the time. They're like, running's better outside. It's like that's great, but you're never gonna get people into it if you're just like you have to do it this way and that's the only one way. So it's like it's helpful to do a treadmill for a little while until you're feeling back in running shape because it helps you pace, and I think that's what a lot of people struggle with.
That's 100%. Is I would start off and be like, I'm cooking.
I'm terrible
I feel
at pacing
good
outside.
And then I get home, bro, after doing I used to run a loop that was at my old house. It was like to the end of the neighborhood and then into like a field and then come back in through the front of the neighborhood kind of, you know what I mean? And I remember doing it a couple times and just being like, yo, like it's like when I was at Bob and Page's and I rode the mountain bike trail and I said, nobody talk to me.
I was genuinely concerned that day that
like
you were dying because I was like, no one's really paying attention, but I can tell you're not playing around anymore. It's not a funny thing.
No, I was like, Bob, you got that albuterol, bro. Go get that inhaler. So, but anyway, I'm just trying to do more things, man. I'm trying to do more things and be less rigid in my structure.
I think that's good for you.
Less rigid in the you know, it used to be, well, if I don't leave work at 6, if I leave work at 6:30, that's 30 minutes less that I have to, who fucking cares, dude? Like, I just stay up later, and I'm trying to stay up later too. I'm just being less rigid in my structure in general, you know?
Well,
and trying to enjoy those things.
If you had the wind down that you're looking for, sometimes it's like, you'd need 12 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's pretty unrealistic as you get older.
And for what? You know what I mean? What am I...
What are you saying this back to me?
I'm
half
talking
this
it through myself,
podcast has been me telling you this shit for 2 years.
Yeah. But so bowling was a lot of fun. Me and Michelle got a new puzzle. I'm really enjoying that. The Presumed Innocent show on Apple TV is absolutely stellar. Mm-hmm. And I got a golf scramble coming up I'm really looking forward to.
You guys are like, it's like you're retired.
Hey,
like
I was born to retire,
as being a retired person.
I was born to retire. Okay, that's about it. I wanted to primarily talk about the bowling league because I just thought that was such a hoot. But we got some fun things going on this weekend.
Okay.
We're hanging out on Saturday. The gang.
Yeah, I know.
I'm happy to report.
I've been seeing all of y'all way too much. Is the thing.
Well, you're out of town, so now you got to get back in the mix,
bro. Saturday.
Yeah, because we're kicking it after work tonight.
Okay.
But tomorrow, I'm happy to report. Last night while we were bowling, Coop informed me Andy bought the trampoline. Now, you guys are going to have to peel me off that trampoline tomorrow night before we go home. Rather, Michan's going to have to peel me off the trampoline. But I am beyond excited. Has Gia been on a trampoline? No, she has. You guys take her to the indoor park.
The tramp park. She likes that.
Sick.
Yeah. So. She'll probably like it more that it's not, there's those things are so crazy. There's so many kids messing around. Mm-hmm. And the whole time you're just going, ooh, don't hit each other. Because they always look like they're about to bounce into each other.
Yeah.
So she'll probably like it better.
And like the heaviest thing about Gia's body is like her head. You know what I mean? So like
her
you got
on
your
her own
noggin
can't go that high. Do you know what I mean? Because she doesn't have enough mass to come down and like move her around.
Yeah. But I feel like little kids, man, it's like I bunked my head on so much shit. But in particular, I got tossed off the trampoline all the time.
What you see most is like the kids getting crumpled by like you go to jump and then someone else hits it at the same time and it's like you just come down on nothing. And
yeah.
There's a lot of that going on at the tramp park.
Oh man. Well,
so we got that going.
That going on. That's going to be a lot of fun. I got my scramble warm up this Sunday. That's about it, man. Nothing else too crazy to report. Garden is coming along though. I want to say I as a quick update, melons did not come to fruition obviously, but I've got a gang of tomatoes really popping, like kind of outgrowing the in-ground beds, even like almost as tall as me in some situations. So I don't know, man. I'm having fun. I'm just chilling. I want to talk about the bowling league. I got a fucking ton of McDonald's last night. That was great in regards to chemicals.
Oh my god. Yeah. Doing the opposite.
That's about it. Yeah. Let me make sure that I don't have anything else on this. But other than that, brother, I have, moving into another thing, though, I have a list of topics that I've been putting together while you were gone. And
I can't wait for these.
Well, this is the thing. This one is topical. Not to do more sports talk, but the Olympics are coming up.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the Olympics because there's always drama, you know. But I wanted to tell you a statistic that I learned that blew my mind. And I've checked it, the validity of it. I've seen a video of it. We were watching, you know, I'm not sure the term, qualifiers, whatever's happening currently or was happening last week, right?
Yeah.
Watching the long jump. Mm-hmm. Familiar with the long jump? You ever done any track and field events? You ever like
in my no.
You never ran track in any regard.
I mean, we used to train on the track. When,
sure. But like, you never like competed or anything. Because like, I think there's some things that I would have actually excelled in. I think high jump would have been fun, and I think I could have been good at that. I think pole vaulting could have been fun, and I think I could have been good at that. Long jumping, I've always been interested in, and I've never had the opportunity to do it. So we were watching some qualifiers, and somebody threw out like, "Oh, the world record long jump." Do you have any over-under of what you think the long jump record would be?
No idea.
When I tell you this, it's real. Fella in 1970-something jumped 29 feet, Timothy. That is 3 basketball hoops on its side. 29 feet is like from fucking...
Uh-huh.
I measured it. 29 feet is more than the front of my house to the back of the house. You could jump from the end of from the fucking garage door.
How many Honda Civics is it?
Probably 2.5. So
how many golden retrievers?
well, they're a
Stop
Coleman.
looking up at the ceiling like you know.
It's the opposite. Let's see. But anyway, man, I'm excited for the Olympics. I think it's going to be fun to watch and to keep up on the drama. I'm going to do some betting on the Olympics. But that stat in particular got me.
That seems dark.
I was wondering, though, if DraftKings Sportsbook will allow you to bet on the Olympics. And I haven't looked into it, but if you can, I'm going to. Mm-hmm. But that stat had me, Timothy, 29 feet. I took a measuring tape out. Like, the fucking measuring tape thing we had only went even 9 feet. I had to do it like 4 times. You know what I mean? Like, you're not amazed by this.
I mean, I don't have like a concept for, you know what I mean? Like, maybe if I saw the tape measure, I'd be like, oh yeah.
What did it for me was like, I was like, okay, 29 feet, that's long, but clearly this dude's an athlete. And then I got to thinking, and I measured, I literally saw 29 feet. And it's like, that is insane. It's absolutely insane. So I'm not really sure what I thought I was going to get from all this, but I'm just blown away by it.
Yeah. Cool.
What kind of track and field events you think you'd be good at?
I don't know, man. My primary skill set when it comes to sports is like running into people. So like,
I was thinking, what would be the most?
There's not like an aggressive thing. Now maybe, I don't know. I might be able. I do feel like sometimes I feel like I could throw that heavy thing far.
Fuck, not catapult. But
catapult. Shot put.
Yes.
I feel like I could throw that. I think I can throw. When you've seen me need to move things around here.
Uh-huh.
I can lift things much heavier than I should. I'm like an ant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not like a huge guy, but I can move things around.
Well, you're also a father, bro.
It's
Something
it's just like determination, where it's just like I just assume I can always, and then I usually can.
Yeah.
So I think I could throw it pretty far. I think I could throw that thing.
Yeah.
That's probably the best for me.
I would love to have a canoe club day where we, on a Sunday, close up early and we go run some track and field events down in North Boulder Park. We've been talking about doing this for a long time. I'm
gonna get a ref shirt just so I can referee the whole thing.
Because you know what, Bobber ain't listening to the pod, but I know he thinks he can beat me in a lot of events, and I don't think he can.
This has been
especially if we put cornhole on the ballot.
This has been going on for a long cornhole. If that gets accepted in the Olympics, that's the
that's how I get rich.
That's one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse is when cornhole is accepted to the Olympics.
Let's take fucking skateboarding out of there. Yeah, that sucks, and in fact, it makes me not.
I
agree.
I think
this is
sucks.
so stupid.
Yeah. It's not supposed to be for that. It's supposed to be cooler than that.
It's supposed to be when you're 14, where kids go smoke cigarettes. Mm-hmm. And you go do that, and you skate all day.
You keep
and then
weed in your bearings tin, and you go to a place.
You on your way down to the skate
little
park,
bit, and
you skate a little
around.
bit. You drink your watermelon Arizona iced tea, and then what I used to do, I'm sure I've said this, was I would usually leave my house with like $1.25 cash in my pocket, in quarters and dimes. You know what I mean? And if I could scrounge in the back of my buddy's Toyota Corolla or something, if I could get $2, I'd get an Arizona tea, and then I would get a taquito. But because you're getting something from the roller, you technically are legally allowed to have a hot dog bun. So I would get a hot dog bun, put hot sauce, eat the hot dog bun with hot sauce, and then eat the taquito on the side. And I'm just talking stretching it, you know.
One of the worst things you've come up with so far, and it's perfectly on brand.
I was 16
that you would eat a hot
Ohio.
dog bun with hot sauce in it. I could see you eat. I could imagine going out.
Don't put it past
to the kitchen right now to get something and being like, "Are you eating a hot dog bun with nothing, with just sauce on it?" And you'd
got
be
a
like,
mouthful, yeah.
Ew. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's just like it's a sport that's about 14-year-old kids breaking boards because they can't do a board slide on a 2 set.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
what it's about.
Yeah.
Working out frustrations, not doing the biggest ramp that God's ever created. You know what I mean? And then it's like, whoa, they did a 2,000 spin, and you're like, who gives a shit, dude? This is too much. This is not cool any longer. When would you be skating? No one has access to these types of things. I just don't like it.
No. I can appreciate the athleticism.
It's supposed to be for everybody.
But
know
skateboarding
what I mean?
is supposed to be like a punk thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not supposed to be on the fucking TV.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, even the X Games stuff where it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
I can get behind X Games,
I guess.
because it feels grandfathered in to an extent. But the Olympics, you got fucking rules, and it's like they're probably being tested if they're smoking weed and shit. And it's like they're smoking weed. You know
have
what I mean?
to. That's how they get good.
So anyway, I don't know. There's something about X Games brings a good point though. That is a good counterpoint.
No, but here's why I'm anti the X Games in this scenario too. Because being good at skateboarding to me is being able to do certain levels of tricks. Fine. But really that doesn't matter at the end of the day. Because like you understand that like someone hitting just a kickflip with a little sauce on it is way fucking cooler than someone landing the perfect kickflip. You know what I mean? If you've got like there's a style standpoint that makes it, it's what I think ties it so closely to fashion and music and all these other things, is that there is a je ne sais quoi with it that is what makes it cool. And you can't judge that. So,
No.
And why would you?
Well,
there's no point.
Yeah, no, and they're judging on technicality, on where the feet land. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch of things that are over my head, but I agree with you, because I would take some kid in some baggy pants and like a hoodie doing a kickflip with like, it's just like clothing, man. You can give somebody all the expensive clothing you want and they can dress and look like shit, but you give somebody with some sauce just a couple things that fit their body well and they feel confident in it, and it's just infinitely cooler.
But
and
it was
just
like,
goes
it
with
was
skateboarding.
for pump kids, hip hop kids,
Yeah, dude.
whatever the fuck you were into, like you're good there, dude. And like, and like, there's and it so much is about how you are dressed. And if I don't know, I'm blanking on that kid that passed away,
Dylan Reeder.
The people that are still copying his style.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because he
was sexy.
Look, he had a way about doing. I mean, yeah, he's like a. Oh man, I'm blanking on everyone's names right now. But he just had like, there was, yeah, you're right. There was like a sexiness to everything he did, the way he skateboarded, the way he dressed, the way he looked, who he hung out with.
His demeanor.
He's got that big dog with him all the time.
Dude.
He had a whole fucking vibe to him that made up what he's doing.
He really lived
judge
in the
that.
world.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I completely agree.
He created a
completely agree.
world.
And he
You're
lived
right.
in it.
I
yeah.
mean, things like the guys from like Habitat or Alien Workshop had that kind of like, they were like a mixture of a couple different worlds, and that's why we liked it so much when we were young. Like they have this certain kind of like style and flavor to them that like nobody else has. And same thing with like anything. I mean, you could
Do you by chance, you may have been not super into skateboarding at this point, or maybe you were heavily into it at this point. Do you remember Fully Flared? When that came out, and it had all the Lakai, and like they were all like Lakai Girl. That was like kind of the crossover. And like thinking like Mike Moe, does that name ring a bell? He heeled down like an 8 set, and it blew up in the intro. That was all the shit was blowing up slow mo, and he had one try. Yeah. So fucking cool, man. But like, if I saw that on fucking ABC after like a Modern Family commercial, it'd be like, what is this shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. I still think I would credit a lot of me being interested in like fashion and style and stuff like that because of just like skate videos.
Do you remember the Barracks?
Yep.
Were you into the Barracks? The Barracks, Steve Barra, and Eric Costin, I believe that was the partnership. They started, it was a skate park, indoor skate park, skate media company in LA, I believe LA. And long story short, they did this thing where you would assemble a team and you'd put together a video part, and your team would submit it, and then everybody would vote on it, and they'd release these videos. And I can just remember there was an era. It was, I wanted black shoes with white soles, I wanted brown corduroy pants, and I wanted either a white or a black baggy t-shirt. And like that's what got me into thinking about how I dressed. Like that.
I mean, what you're talking about is basically how you dress still a little bit. You know what I mean?
No, you're
like
right.
The fact that I have Vans on still is not because it's because it's like what I used to wear when I was a kid.
Yep.
So it just like hasn't gone away. And I think that it's like impossible to separate that. Like a lot of like guys our ages, especially like our age demographic, is really influenced by that whole world. Like there's no question. And I think the fashion as a whole. I mean, look at like what Virgil was trying to do with Louis Vuitton. Skateboarding had there was a huge element to it there, because I think he understood that it was like undeniable what like this massive influence that it's had stylistically that no one's really acknowledging. Yeah. So I still.
I mean, that I credit most of what I think is cool to what I got into when I was skateboarding. Music came from me skateboarding,
Yeah.
So anyway, me and Willie, our boy Willie, he's apparently a shredder. He has some old parts, and he was apparently a shredder, but he shattered his ankle pretty bad not long ago, and that brings me to my next thought was yesterday my ankle that I ruined in Japan. That was bad before then, and then was bad before that, and just an awful ankle. I'm running from the stew to the store yesterday. Step off, kind of a little jog. Step off, right foot goes into a pothole. I turned my shit completely over, Timbo. I mean, like, I was standing on my fucking...
Your shit's really made of rubber down there.
Jesus, man. So in that moment, I was so sure it was snapped in half. I was like, this is it. It's finally fucking broken. I'm just going to go have surgery. They're going to put shit in my ankle so that it can just stay upright. But I would get home last night all swollen. You can see it through my sock, all swollen, dude. I go over there, and so point being, I might not be skating anytime soon. But me and Willie were going to go skate. There's a bunch of new parks around Boulder, apparently. Little DIY parks that have gotten
at this point, it's
city
been a
approval
very
and
long
shit.
time. I don't know that I could keep up, really. I'd have to skate around a little bit.
What I said to Willie, I said, listen, buddy, I want a 3.5 foot, 4 foot quarter pipe, and I just want to just skate that. And I'll just do the same 10, 12, 15 little 1-2s, and just I would skate
be
a little
shocked.
quarter pipe
What do you mean 15?
on a quarter pipe?
Yeah, what do you got?
I
15 different
I
options.
could shred on a quarter pipe, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine on there, but what are you coming up with 15? What things you got?
Little things.
What do you mean little things?
You want me to name all the tricks I can do on a quarter pipe?
Yes.
I don't want to do that. But I mean, I'll next week, just to humor you, this is like when you didn't think I could do a backflip in the studio and I did it 2 years ago.
I'm just saying 15 is a lot of different options.
Yeah, but you got little variations, little reverts on the way back down, little no-star revert. Timbo, I think I could still get it popping on a quarter pipe.
All right, 15.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll go film it. That'll be fun.
I don't, as soon as you went to show it to me, I wouldn't watch it.
You don't want to sit and watch the video,
No,
but
literally, if you did 3, I'd be like, okay, fine.
Okay,
If that means I don't have to watch the rest of this, then fine. That's what you want.
yeah. But
I'm just saying that's a lot of little variations.
yeah, but you got front side, you got back side, you come up switch.
Oh, I don't know if
mean?
we're counting all that shit.
Yeah, well, it's all different.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Fine. If that's what you want. Whatever. You can do 50. You can do 45.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went and saw fucking Long Legs last night.
Oh, yes, I wanted to talk about this. Tell me, dude.
It's fucked.
I've heard mixed reviews from people. What do you think? I trust your opinion most,
Well,
to
what
be
do you
honest.
mean, like mixed reviews? Like what's the...
Someone...
This is hard because it's horror movies, and I think that everyone then suddenly has a hard opinion on a horror movie for some reason, whereas like no one will weigh in on like some sort of small indie that's like, you know what I mean, then you only get... but actually I think is also can be an echo chamber of only good because no one wants to be the one that didn't understand it, you know, but...
That's how we have so many Wes Anderson films, or fans. I'm saying that tongue in cheek. I like Wes Anderson, but also
I don't. So
it's such a I do. I really do, but not all of it. It doesn't all resonate. I would watch Fantastic Mr. Fox back to back to back to back though.
I like maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah,
and I'm mid on all the others.
But
so what are you saying? So you're saying that you've read mixed reviews? Like
yes.
I tried to kind of stay away from reviews, especially with horror movies. I love looking at reviews, obviously, but I don't love. With horror movies, I think it's tough because everyone wants to have an opinion. There's a lot of different people of movie goers, like the type of people who will go see the movie is going to be very broad in that because you're going to have like all the fans of just horror films, which has such a huge... That genre is difficult to define, in my opinion, because...
it's so... It is so many people's whole identities.
Yeah,
you know,
and people make a case for like Saw, and it's like, I don't know, man. Like that's not for me. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think there was any like artistic, because they're like the storyline or the premise is really good, and that's all. That's all they need. Or maybe stylistically or vibe wise is something that like Cronenberg or something like that. They're going to be like, well, that's it's body horror and it has this like very specific difficult to watch kind of. So it's like it's too all over the place that it can be hard to judge a movie like this because just too many people are involved.
Well, see, this person's review, they meant it as a way to communicate they didn't love it or it didn't do it for them. But in fact, the reasons they didn't love it are I actually think I will like it.
That's kind of what I mean. Is like someone could also, if you just like are like it made me uncomfortable the whole time. You're like that's the entire point. Everything that they were doing was specifically so that you're not really supposed to like it almost. Do you know what I mean? Like that's part of it is like
it's an experience, right?
Yeah, I think so. That's like that's why I mean it's such a hard thing to like judge when it comes to these types of movies.
They said it started out strong, and then the rest of the movie was based on like vibe and suspense, and it's like, yeah, cool. That's
I will. I can agree that the premise towards the end, for me, a little off the rails, but at that point, I don't know that I'm really there for that. You know what I'm saying? So I could be critical and say that the storyline got a little too. This happens in horror movies and like detective shit. This happened in True Detective. You know what I mean? Where it's like towards the end, you're like, oh well.
Even season one, I'd say towards the end, you're like, what happens in the last episode and how this show ends or begins, you would be like, how did we get here? You know what I mean?
There's always the problem of the unveiling of the monster in movies. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it would be better that you just never knew, and that is way creepier and better than ever revealing anything. You know what I mean? And then because it can never be as big as the suspense build it up to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I think that's what was great about like the Paranormal Activity movies is like, there's no point, like that's where they fell off the rails too. Is like, don't stop. I don't need to see its footprints. I don't want to have any idea of what the fuck this thing is, because I've built it up in my head to be one thing, and the mystery is so much bigger than anything you could ever like deliver on.
No matter what you show, it won't suffice.
It's almost better to me, even in a horror movie like this, or any sort of like serial killer or murderer kind of thing, of like, make them human, because that's scarier that it could be anybody. You know what I mean? Or like that human nature could be that ugly. You know what I mean? So I think it's tough. But I really liked it for a couple different reasons. One, the performances are really good, and Nick Cage is going to get all of this accolade, and he should, because he's like unfucking recognizable.
Really?
And it's like, it's perfectly like the marketing of this with never showing him, and then that's kind of this build up the whole time.
Because it's so
billed
as a Nick Cage movie, right? Like, it's no surprise that
when he's on the screen, you can't look away. Do you know what I mean? And it's like a car accident where you're like, I don't want to look at him. I don't like the way he's acting or moving or every choice he's. You know, they always say the acting is all about choices. You have to just make choices, and you have to play to the back of the room, and you have to commit to them. Every choice he made was strong and the right choice. You know what I mean? Because you can't stop looking at him. You know what I mean? You just can't look away from him because of what he's doing. And I think that like that's actually him at his very best too, to be completely honest with you. If you think about the things he's been good in, you know, he gets all this shit for being in a lot of bad movies, and fine. But he is an actor who every single time he goes in, he goes, I'm going to make a fucking very strong, very deliberate choice, and it will either work or it won't work. And I think that's kind of what acting kind of should be about, at least at its like root. So this is a very strong performance for him. That being said, and I'm going to forget her name right this minute, but the actress that plays opposite of him, that's sort of like the, I don't know, is he protagonist, I guess, the detective that's investigating the murder, she is so good, because everyone is kind of a freak. You know what I mean? Like no one's normal. There is no normal. You know what I mean? Every person in the movie is a little bit of like is moving just a little weird, or their eyes are weird, or their like choices are strange. Yeah. Like,
where does it take place, Timbo? Does it say? I'm just
I don't remember if it gives you an exact place. It's sort of like, I think it's like late 80s, early 90s, and it's somewhere in, I would guess, the Midwest, somewhere like that. Cool. You know,
okay,
kind of rural-ish.
Yeah.
It's really. What they do that's so great is a couple different things. Number one, they play with sound really well. The sounds are, it's like the whole atmosphere is uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's constantly, but what I really loved is the framing of every shot. If I was shooting you right now and I'm shooting it like this director, he's going to go up and tilt it down. Now, the reason being is because you are now in the bottom third, and I'm watching the top 2/3 the whole time going, there's something that's fucking going to happen.
I see what you
mean. And it's not going to. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not always going to.
But it builds that suspense.
But you're just going, what am I missing? Because I'm always looking at them in a way where I feel like I need to be assessing this for them because they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
And they do that in every single goddamn shot. When you start to notice it, you can't stop noticing it, and you're like, God damn, like everything is just a little
sick.
Not how you would normally do it.
Yeah, yeah.
They also do this interesting thing where he's using the use of, like, if you've watched any of like the promotion or anything, they're using a very specific bright red color. You know what I mean? In all the fonts and everything like that. And they specifically use that over and over again to, like, that color comes up and it like will stay on the screen, and it's like hypnotizing. You know what I mean? Like, because then it'll cut. It's kind of like going snowblind. You know, you go.
It's like coming from a dark room and you get that crazy.
Jesus, yeah. You know what I mean? So every single time that they drop into a new scene, it feels like it's kind of like, oh man, I gotta get used to it, because it like threw my equilibrium off a little bit. So it's really like a movie that keeps working against you the whole time. You know what I mean? So, and it's not super reliant on jump scares, although there's some really good ones. It's like the use of dread is what's really good, and it kind of reminds me.
See, I'm into that. That works.
So there's an element of kind of like, I'm not spoiling anything because this comes up in in anything you read about the movie. There's like a kind of almost a satanic panic element that's almost like House of the Devil. It's like House of the Devil meets True Detective meets like Zodiac, I would say.
Oh. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, is kind of the overall vibe.
Cool.
I think you would love this. I mean, I really think this is a movie that you would be into because it's very dark. It's very like creepy, but it's also like very like detective oriented. And they have to kind of figure this strange system out. And
everything
stuff.
I've heard, good or bad, would lead me to believe that I will enjoy this movie.
Yeah. But the thing is too, it's not like a Zodiac where like, yeah, obviously, the serial killer is like, that's a real person in that situation. And there's all this dread that they build up and everything because it's so violent and awful. This has horror movie tropes that you kind of love about it. You know what I mean? Where it feels like there's a monster on the loose.
Yeah.
And he looks like a monster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so strange.
But he's a human.
Yeah. He just
okay.
Like, they're covering up the way he looks for a reason.
Yeah.
And I want to give like examples, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone. It's better because it's like exciting. Like that's why the marketing is so good in it that like I was tense the moment I walked in there. People, like the audience was also very well attended for movies I go to where there's nobody. This is very well attended. And it's fun. And I've always said I love horror movies when it's, I love in a theater because you really get people like laughing just because you're nervous or, you know what I mean? And yelling when it's scary and stuff.
Yes.
It's really good.
So it looks like it'll be on Prime Video by late August. Maybe I'll just go see it in the theaters with Michelle.
I think that this is definitely because of the sound design and the video, like the choices that were made by the cinematographer, it's worth seeing in a theater. Yeah. Where I would tell you there's plenty of horror movies where I'm like, you could just watch that at home. Yeah. This one would be pretty worth it, I think, because of the strong choices that were made.
Sick.
It looks good. I mean, I really think it's a fun movie. And it's still like if you're into movies and you're like, I'm not like a horror movie person, you're still gonna like you'll still be into it.
I like vibey dark. I like the dark feel of movies and shows.
Every single scene and play, like every single house entered, every single place you're never safe while watching it. Yeah. You never feel like you can like, I can relax for a minute. You're just never sure because every place is like dark and creepy and strange, and you know what I mean. It just never feels like you're good.
Sick.
And they break it up into acts, which I think is also kind of an interesting choice. And it's really it's good. It's nice. It's kind of it's like Zodiac unhinged. You know what I mean?
Well, I love Zodiac, and that's a movie. I'm not much of a movie guy. I like movies, but I primarily watch shows, and I'll rewatch shows, and we have shows on. But I've got no problem watching Zodiac like here and there pretty often. I really like that movie. It's a good because it's a good feel. And when I said like dark, like the show Dark, that also is like perfect feel.
This doesn't give you. I mean, I maybe I'll walk that back. I wouldn't say. I was gonna say I don't think it gives you as much time. You know what I mean? Because sometimes like pacing, like that's like the Witch or anything, and Robert Eggers anything. It kind of gives you that like you have enough time in the scene to like take it all in, and that so it creates that vibe. You know what I mean? Which is normally that's my favorite type of movie. Anything that gives you way more time in a scene. Because I think movies move way too fast now. It's not just me being old. It's that you never get to take in all of the stuff you need to take in to like fully feel like you're in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like by the time what's crazy to me is like, and I'm just going to pick on something that's easy, but like in a Marvel movie, you spend all this fucking time on CGI and set design, and I never feel like I have a second to take it in because the dialogue is boom, 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 boom.
The explosion happens. There's 6 shots.
Yeah, it's too. Yeah. It
like,
feels impossible to. I mean, that's what if you go back and like, let's say you're like, I don't know, Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever, and then you watch how that moves, and you go back to a Star Wars. The reason people liked that and it resonated with them because you had plenty of time. If you rewatch the movie once or twice, even to look around, to see the whole space, to see what they're wearing, to see how they're moving and talking, and it just doesn't feel like these movies now are longer and they don't waste any second. Just a different way of making movies. Some people love it, I get it, but it's just hard because I just don't think you take in all that space, which is really important in movies, I think.
Do you know that movie? I'm sure you do. We had to have talked about it, but I don't know your opinion on it. The movie Prisoners, the Jake Gyllenhaal and Paul Dano movie. Mm-hmm. That is another one where you have a lot of time to sit in the scenes, and it's slow,
and the way it's shot is very like that's that dread thing that this does well, where you're just like, oh, it's like you can feel the weight of the room all the time.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of a similar situation, except for you're just a little bit more on edge. So I think that's why it doesn't like you don't feel like it's like you don't want to look around the room, but that's kind of the point. It's like, you know what I mean? Because you're scared I'm going to see something. Because there's a ton of those little moments too where you're like you just get a glimpse of something for a second, and
I really want to see this movie.
Yeah, it's good. It's a fun one. I'm not going to. I mean, I don't know. I would say it's like it's not. I don't know if I'm going to put it in like my top 10 of the year, but at the same time, it's one of the more interesting like experiences I've had at the movies in a while, where I was like genuinely like I said, the marketing's good. Like you're anxious going in and going like, what is this?
And you had said something around there was some sort of when the actress first saw Nick Cage.
Yeah, there's like a
costume,
teaser out there. Yeah.
Where they monitor her like heartbeat or something, and
of the first time that she like goes to interview him.
Yeah.
And it's also like what I don't know if I was trying to pull too much out of this, but I think it's also an interesting commentary on like, you know, if like you're a parent and you try to take on certain weights for your kid, and then because of it you've affected how you live, which is now affecting them anyway. Mm-hmm. I think a little bit that's kind of like what the movie's about, is like sort of how like a protection of things is just is can be equally as affecting as letting a thing happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's, again, I might be reading too much into it, but I think there was more going on with the commentary on things than it gives you time to take in.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because the more I thought about it, I'm like, I wonder if that's kind of like what they were trying to say with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's fun.
Well, dope.
It's fun.
Dope.
It's a good one.
There's a good theater out by us that I really liked. We went and saw Dune 2 at.
Yeah, it's the biggest bummer to me that I have to, if I go to like, because I like those big movie theaters too, but we just don't have one here. But at the same time, like I said, this is the first time I've been in the theater with more than like
probably
one
since
guy.
Priscilla, yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Priscilla was packed because of the sorority girls.
Or be a daddy show.
I'm gonna be a daddy. But I mean, it would be worth it, I think, to see in theaters. You know what I mean?
I mean, I like going to the movie. I like getting popcorn and shit.
I'll be interested to hear your take on it.
Yeah.
I haven't really been. I need to go see Kinds of Kindness, but like it's a tough one where it's like I usually go to like 9:50, 10 p.m. showings, and that's a 2-hour, 50-minute that before
you
trailers.
You will not get home until
it's like at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's like I just haven't done it just yet, just because of the length. But a lot of good movies coming out right now, so I gotta get back over there.
Nice.
I finally saw there's no way you've seen this, but I'll ask anyway. Ghost Story. It's Casey Affleck. It's very slow moving, like time and space.
I like Casey
sort
Affleck,
of.
but no.
I mean, it's if you're talking about the opposite of like, well, not the opposite, but very vibey and makes you sit in scenes way longer than you want to. Like, you know what I mean? Like just when you feel like, oh my God, please end this scene. It just sits for another minute. You know what I mean? It's all about kind of like, like grief. And it's like basically the story of like a guy who passes away and has to be a ghost in his own life and watch people move on. And then it's also like beyond just your time, but the other times and what people
with
leave in
the sheet over the.
Yeah.
Wow,
it's really good.
Freaky.
It's not scary. If that's what just not scary.
Yeah.
It's just, well, I mean, it's scary because it's like real life tragedy,
but
heavy,
yeah.
Incredibly fucking heavy. But I don't know why I just missed this when it came out because it's right up my alley, but missed it. Would highly recommend anyone who's into like, sad, slow movies.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, those are your kind of speed. Okay. Where are we at on time?
We're way over. Way over.
Shit.
But we're good.
You want to do a recommendation?
Sure. What do you got? You got one ready to go?
Well,
I guess I kind of just did Ghost Story. I could do that one, but let me think for a minute. Let me see if there's
you
anything
saying
else.
Ghost Story reminded me. I want to recommend a record to somebody that might be into the things that you and I grew up with, punk, hardcore, kind of straight edge youth crew shit. There's a band called Sinking Ships. Did you ever get into them? I think the frontman of Sinking Ships was like the singer of Champion's little brother or something.
Oh,
like
weird.
That. There's like it's like some sort of connection like that. There's a tune called Ghost Stories from that record, and I would really just highly recommend you listen to that. It reminds me of my buddy Frankie. Go listen to that record if you're into this stuff at all, or some of the things that we've talked about kind of piqued your interest. Sinking Ships. Let me find the actual album name.
I really like the new single from Dead Harry. Have we ever listened to them in the store? In the studio? Dead Harry? It's good shit. Kind of like more lo-fi Hotline TNT, like slower but still kind of buzzy and catchy, and it's really good.
Sinking Ships Disconnecting is the record. So that's what I would recommend you go listen to right now.
I'm trying to think of what I would do right now. What I could recommend. Fuck, man, I don't know. I don't know if I've got one easily. Like I said,
maybe
Ghost Story's good,
next week
but
we'll talk about how your not elimination diet, but not bullshit, no processed shit.
I'll be fine in like another 2 days, like because it's always does this. It's like anything you do that's like that, where you're like after a few days you're like, oh, I'm just used to it. It's fine now. You know what I mean? But man, it's like it's like quitting smoking, but obviously not as hard. But
are you gonna lean towards any sort of, maybe you would primarily eat more raw food? Or are you not necessarily looking at it as that way?
I mean, I'll see how long I can run this. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I'm all. I think that like taking that. I'm not like super anti. You know, all that other stuff's fun. I'm just trying to like. I just feel like I need it for a little while, so I'll run through this until I decide I'm all good.
I mean,
yeah.
Timbo seems like a good thing to do. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no one's gonna argue.
I think everybody should
like try as general as it can be.
Yeah.
So you can. I'll recommend trying that. This made up diet.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Sale.
Yeah.
As of right now.
Sale's bumping. This is going to go live today, and Abby maybe already sent the email. Actually, I've been seeing emails come through CS, so yes. Email's out. Sale's live.
Up to 50% off.
Yep. Everything that was at 30 is now 50. Anything that was remaining to hit seasonal sale is now at 30. Hop in there, y'all. You know, a lot of good shit.
So we're in there doing it.
Yeah, we'll be doing that. I got a lot of work to do when we get out of here, so we do that and then work through that so that we can get packing orders because we got a lot in there already. So let's go.
Got good guests coming up too. So
yeah, we have a lot of good
Cowgirl.
guests.
We had a weird schedule this week, obviously, because of me being gone. But you can check out the previous episode with
Matthew from Cowgirl. Yep.
Yeah. And then we got cool stuff coming up too. So
I think we're recording 3 next week, so we will batch them out. But
yeah, we're gonna get into a little bit better of a flow. But good guests, so it'll be fun.
Yeah,
I'm excited. All right.
I think I want a sandwich here at some point soon. So,
okay. Well,
we're gonna see about that. Maybe Jimmy John's if Abby's down.
She's not down. She said she fucking can't abandon me on this ship.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I won't.
All right.
I won't push it. All right, let's get to it, brother.
Bye-bye.